Star Wars, since it first debuted, has been a staple in modern pop culture. From the first trilogy to the animated series, the plethora of books to the huge amusement parks, the franchise's relevance has not seen much decline. In fact, it has seen a steady growth not just in the core fan base, but for those on the fringes as well. The universe, set in a galaxy far, far away, is filled with a whole host of futuristic gadgets and thingamajigs that for fans that saw it back in the late 70s seemed all too far-fetched, with flying cars, laser beams, and lightsabers and all. In 2020, however, one must not be shocked at how quickly modern technology has caught up with science fiction. In this list, we take a look at 6 Star Wars technologies that exist in real life today. Number 1. Land speeders. Few can forget the action-packed land speeder race scene of the first trilogy's first installment. Star Wars, 1977, being the first film in the franchise's history, set the tone for the rest of the series within the vast arid plains of Tatooine, and with Luke Skywalker's humble introductions came his exploits with his land speeders, hovering above the desert landscape, traversing obstacles that would bog down normal cars with ease, and at a speed and grace that would be unheard of back in the day of its release. It was quite a talking point during this time, and one would not be alone in wondering, what if vehicles could float around with some type of anti-gravity beam and just flat out defy physics altogether? Today, people can, instead of wondering, see that we have actual examples of the so-called hovercraft. Aerofex, an aerospace engineering company based in California, has managed to develop a hoverbike, described as a hovercraft that rides like a motorcycle, called the Aero X. The vehicle can fly around at 72 kilometers per hour and hover for up to 3 meters from the ground. It has been in development since 2008, and a full tank of fuel will make it run for a little bit more than an hour. For those wanting more speed, the Malloy hoverbike is a worthy consideration, being designed to reach speeds of more than 170 miles per hour, although this would ride much more like a helicopter as it was also designed to hover at the same altitude of one. For something more akin to Luke Skywalker's speeder, the Renault float would serve the comparison some justice. Employing maglev or magnetic levitation technology, the float is designed to be the car of the future. Before you get your hopes up, however, it's worthy to note that all 3 vehicles are still firmly in the design phase, and even when they do come out, they will come with a pretty hefty price tag. Number 2. Droids. Another mainstay in the Star Wars universe are the ever-so-helpful droids. From measly trash bins to translators and even grand beacons of vast knowledge and data, droids have a very solid place in the society of the galaxy far, far away. Accounting for the major breakthroughs in AI and robotics today, our society is not far from having these android helpers being a part of our everyday lives. A great example is the iRobot Roomba, an autonomous robotic vacuum cleaner that can map out your house, devise and execute a cleaning plan, and go back to its recharging station automatically, essentially making all brooms obsolete. In terms of bipedal humanoid walkers like C-3PO, scientists and designers from around the world have managed to accomplish feats in replicating fluid human motions, successfully besting the golden android's stiff robotic movements with climbing ladders, obstacles, and the occasional backflip. The challenge, however, lies within developing artificial intelligence itself, although we are getting closer with robots such as Boston Dynamics' Atlas being showcased and designed for an assortment of search and rescue tasks, and apparently backflips. And SoftBank Robotics' Pepper, which is designed to analyze and detect human emotions through facial recognition and tonal voice analysis, already seeing commercial use in restaurants, airports, banks, and medical facilities, mainly as a polite and thoughtful receptionist. Number 3. Holograms. Communication is a vital component of any society, and in the Star Wars universe, a simple phone call isn't enough. Throughout the films, we see various transmissions in the form of holograms, and in most cases replacing screens altogether, as we see holograms of advertisements, entertainment programs, and announcements all throughout the sagas. More often than not, these transmissions give us a peek of what it is like on the other side of the far, far galaxy, and although we have not managed to emulate the type of holograms in the franchise, that is, straight up projections of light instead of projecting onto some kind of surface or substance, we have managed to come up with pretty realistic holograms in our own galaxy. A relevant example is the resurrection of the rap legend Tupac as a hologram that performed alongside contemporaries Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre in Coachella back in 2012 in front of a crowd of 80,000. This example isn't technically a hologram though, as it only appeared to be 3-dimensional and is actually 2-dimensional. This technique, formed more than 200 years ago, is called the Pepper's Ghost, apparently named after scientist John Henry Pepper, who adapted this method, which involved projecting an image onto an angled piece of glass which is then reflected back onto the stage, thereby providing the illusion of an actual 3D image. Number 4. Human augmentation or prosthetics. Whether it be Luke Skywalker's iconic bionic hand or the extreme cyborg-like human augmentation done to the menacing General Grievous, technology in the galaxy far, far away has developed enough that almost any injury can be treated, even say falling into a massive pit of lava after having been split in half by a lightsaber. See Darth Vader. Such advances in medicine are imperative, as in some cases, losing a limb or an appendage is something unavoidable. Here in the galaxy where we belong in exists the aptly named Luke Bionic Arm made by Mobius Bionics. The prosthetics device is a state-of-the-art robotic arm that one-upped other devices by being the only commercially available prosthesis with 10 powered joints, featuring a powered shoulder, allowing a shoulder-level amputee to reach over their head, according to the Mobius Bionics website. Important to also note is German company Autobot, which is probably the leading name in the prosthetics industry, with products such as the Michelangelo hand, a fully articulated robotic hand that is capable of delicate tasks such as cooking, ironing, and opening a tube of toothpaste, and the Genium X3, a prosthetic leg that allows lower body amputees to feel like they had never lost their legs, being designed to enable veteran amputees to return to active duty. Although these aforementioned devices are not exactly counterparts to the prosthetics seen in Star Wars, as they are more or less strapped on rather than surgically implanted, the field advances more and more every day as they tap into more possibilities, having already explored technologies such as implementing the use of remaining muscles or even brain signals to control existing prosthesis. Number 5. Laser cannons. What is a Star Wars landscape without a few laser blasters or two? The arsenal for laser weaponry is vast in the franchise's expansive lore, from the standard issue Stormtrooper laser rifle to Chewbacca's bowcaster, all the way to the massive Death Star super laser. Laser combat is a hallmark of a true sci-fi classic, and in our scientists' journey towards making fantasy into reality, a number of laser weapons have been tested and designed. The 80s and 90s saw the United States delve into laser technology, as they developed both the Miracle, mid-infrared advanced chemical laser, and Thel, tactical high-energy laser, chemical laser systems that were mainly designed to intercept incoming ballistics like rockets and artillery. Both systems, however, were discontinued. The efforts of US, however, did not stop there, as in recent years they have successfully built the XN-1 LAWS laser weapon system, similar in purpose as the previous laser weapons with consideration to more modern threats. The LAWS has been seen in a video the Navy has released being able to disable UAVs, detonate a rocket-propelled grenade, and burn out the engine of a rigid-hull inflatable boat. The US Navy has only good things to say about the system and very much favored as it is more compact than standard ballistics weaponry, not requiring storage and manufacturing of ammunition, and much cheaper when comparing the hundreds of millions of dollars used in ballistics weaponry. One laser shot costs only 59 cents. The timeline of widespread use of laser weaponry and even laser blasters are like the galaxy that inspired it, far, far away. In the meantime, one can go to their local laser tag center to reenact all the epic battles to your heart's content. Number 6. Lightsabers. The epitome of Star Wars technology, the absolute symbol of the lore and weapon of choice of most powerful characters in the sagas, the lightsaber, as it stands today, would only be possible in a fictional world. It has been debated since its inception, and time again, pundits are proven wrong. A weapon so powerful that even amongst a galaxy of laser blasters, rifles, and battle droids, it stands as the absolute best, but will be nothing more than a figment in our collective imaginations. The lightsaber is a weapon so out of this world that it may not ever be a part of our own. Or is it? In an interview by Neil deGrasse Tyson with illustrious British physicist Brian Cox, they discussed the possibility of the lightsaber. Tyson said that if lightsabers were made of light, they would undoubtedly be able to slice through and cut through things, but they would not be able to bounce off each other, akin to the samurai-inspired duels of the Jedi Knights and Sith Lords. A worthy argument that Brian Cox dismissed with a process called photon-photon scattering, entailing that at very high energies, photons actually have the probability to bounce off each other rather than simply passing through one another. This, at the very least, answers the very first question in creating a lightsaber. Is it possible? The answer is yes. Now we get to the dirty work of solving the auxiliaries, and maybe then we can finally go around and swing a lightsaber, whooms and whoops and all. While the technology and advancement in Star Wars is a far cry from what we have now, one cannot ignore the rapid encroachment of modern life to futuristic fantasies. Living now in this highly advanced age where science fiction and reality cross paths seemingly every day, we must remember that at the core of the Star Wars universe lies the enigmatic Force. And though the midichlorians might be fiction and force chokes, lightnings, levitations, and such are about as far-fetched as one can make it out to be, we see a clear counterpart to this phenomena as Luke Skywalker said to Rey in the final trilogy. The Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things, a tension, a balance, that binds the universe together.